So let us start talking about solubility of liquids in liquids. In the previous lecture, we have seen solubility of gases in liquids, and we elaborated Henry's law along with its limitations. In solubility of liquids in liquids, though we can have three categories like completely miscible liquids, partially miscible liquids, and immiscible liquids. But as we have to deal with two important classes, one is completely miscible and another one is partially miscible through the point of view of your formulation. We'll be dealing in detail with uh, ideal and real solutions, which we get when we deal with completely miscible liquids. And then we'll move on to talk about partially miscible liquids or conjugate pairs. So, what solubility of liquids in liquids is when two or more liquids are being mixed together to give us a pharmaceutical solutions. We can have alcohol being added to water to form hydroalcoholic solutions of varying concentrations. We can mix volatile oils with water to form the solution, which is also known as aromatic waters. Even volatile oils are sometimes mixed with alcohol to give us spirits and elixirs. Ether and alcohol, they are combined to get collodions, whereas various fixed oils are blended along with other oils or bases, ointment bases, to get ointments, lotions, sprays, and medicated oils. Based on the solubility or the way liquid mix with another liquid system, these systems are being divided into two categories. One is known as complete miscibility and another one is known as partial miscibility. First, we'll be dealing with completely miscible liquids, and then we'll move on to talk about partial miscible liquids. So let us move on to talk about ideal solutions. When we deal with completely miscible liquid pair like alcohol and water, chloroform and water, there are two classes. One is known as when we mix two liquids and when we get a solution, either we will get ideal solution or will achieve the real solution. So we need to discriminate between ideal solutions and real solutions. So first we'll talk about ideal solutions and then we'll move on to talk about real solutions. Ideal solutions are formed by mixing substances having similar properties. Ideal solutions is the solution in which there is no change in the properties of the components other than dilution when they are mixed to form the solution. Means when we are trying to mix these two liquids, they do not interact with each other. They just get miscible with each other and only leads to the dilution in the form of means dilution or the increase into the volume and nothing else. Means no here in ideality, ideality means complete uniformity of attractive forces. Means you will have say solution liquid A and liquid B, So whatever cohesive forces that exist between the molecules of A are very much similar to the cohesive forces which exist between the molecules of B liquid, and both of which are similar to the adhesive forces which will be developed between molecules of A and B when they are being mixed together. So when these kind of liquids are being mixed, the ideality exists between the forces of attraction between molecules of A, molecules of B, and molecules of A and B. And because of that, no heat is being evolved or absorbed during this process. So final volume of the solution, it only represents an additive property of the individual constituents. Means either shrinkage or no expansion takes place when these substances are being mixed together. Let me give an example. When you mix 50 ml of methanol with 50 ml of ethanol, the total volume of the solution which you will be getting on mixing will be 100 ml of solution. 50 ml of methanol is being added to the 50 ml of ethanol will just lead to the addition of the volumes which were being added with each other, giving you 100 ml. So final volume of the solution, it is just an additive property of the individual constituents. 50-50 have been added, so you will get total 100 ml of the solution. This doesn't happen when say hydrochloric acid is being added into water, because there shrinkage takes place of the volume, and this happens because there is no uniformity between cohesive and adhesive forces of molecules of those two liquids. When you will find that the cohesive and adhesive forces which exist between the molecules of the liquid A and liquid B, at that time you will get a complete uniformity, and the final volume of the solution will be just an additive property of individual constituents. So in another way we can say that no shrinkage or expansion in the volume is taking place when these substances are being mixed together. And these solutions which are being formed by mixing these kind of substances which are having similar properties, these are known as ideal solutions. Example is your solution of methanol and ethanol. Another way of defining ideal solution is the solution which do obey the Raoult's law. We'll be explaining in our next lecture about Raoult's law, but at this point of time it is required to talk about it because there is another way of defining ideal solution, and that is ideal solutions are those that do obey the Raoult's law. Another category or another class of mixing two liquids with each other leading to non-ideal solutions, to which we also call it as real solutions. And you get real solutions when either cohesive forces of attraction or either your adhesive forces of attraction, they exceed each other. Means in some cases you will find that cohesive forces are exceeding the adhesive forces of attraction, or adhesive forces of attraction are exceeding the cohesive forces of attraction. So it all depends upon what kind of interaction that is taking place between the molecules of those two liquids which are being mixed. Few solution pairs are known in which cohesive attraction between molecules of A with A and molecules of B with the B, they exceeds adhesive attraction that exists between molecules of A and B when they are being mixed together. And this may occur even though liquids are miscible in all proportions. So while looking at those solutions, you will not find that what is going at the molecular level. At the molecular level, either your cohesive forces of attractions are exceeding, or either your adhesive forces of attractions are exceeding. And when this happens, these kind of solutions or these kind of mixtures are known as real or non-ideal solutions. Say for example, solutions of solution of chloroform and ethanol, chloroform and acetone, benzene and ethyl alcohol. When these liquids are being mixed together, you will find that either expansion or either contraction or shrinkage of the volume is being taking place, and total volume will not be just addition of the individual amount of those two liquids. In real solution, Raoult's law does not apply over the entire concentration range. It can only be applicable for a substance with high concentration, because Raoult's law will be applicable to the pure solvent in this kind of liquid pairs. So another way of defining real or non-ideal solutions are those which do not obey or to which your Raoult's law does not apply. We are going to talk about Raoult's law. So in real solution, these are the liquid pairs where you will find that either cohesive forces of attractions are exceeding or your adhesive forces of attraction are exceeding and leading to either expansion or shrinkage of the total volume which we will get on mixing these two liquids. When looking at the solutions, you will not find any difference when you are mixing, say for example, ethanol with methanol, and when you are mixing chloroform with ethanol. The difference which you will observe is into the volume, total volume which you will be getting. If you add 50 ml of ethanol to 50 ml of methanol, total volume you will get will be 100 ml, which is known as ideal solution. Whereas in case of chloroform and ethanol, when they are being mixed 50 ml with 50 ml, you will not find that it is giving you 100 ml of solution. So somewhere the attractive forces have a difference and uniformity is not there into the forces of attraction, which was there existing into ideal solutions. So solution which shows a deviation, so this is another way of defining your real solutions, is the solution which shows deviation from Raoult's law. Raoult's law talks about uniformity of forces of attraction, and it doesn't exist into your real solutions or non-ideal solutions. Another point which we need to talk about is escaping tendency. Escaping tendency means we have spoken about vapor pressure, and that time I have touched this particular point, that the molecules which are there onto the surface of a liquid, they always possess higher free energy, or it is also known as surface free energy. Why the molecules which are there onto the surface have higher surface free energy is because they are exposed to the another environment. Say for example, when liquid is being exposed to the atmosphere, the molecules of the liquids which are there onto the surface, they are being exposed to the air or to the gaseous state. So when they are going to deal with adverse conditions, like going to deal with or interact with the molecules of the gases into the air, they should have the energy sufficient to interact with them, and that energy is known as surface free energy. As you will increase the temperature of any liquid, more and more molecules will start coming onto the surface because of their increase into their kinetic energy, and as more and more molecules which will be there onto the surface of liquid, it will lead to increase into their surface free energy. This surface free energy increase leads to the escaping of the molecules from the surface of the liquid and go into the vapor state. So this is what escaping tendency is. When two bodies are in contact with each other and one is heated to a higher temperature than the other, heat will flow from the hotter to the colder body until the bodies are in thermal equilibrium. This process is termed the escaping tendency. So what is happening, you must have observed this kind of thing. When one hot body is being kept in contact with another material or another body which is not being heated, so you will find that the transfer of heat takes place from hotter body to the colder body, and this happens till equilibrium is being reached. That is what is being known as thermal equilibrium. In this case, you will observe that the heat transfer will continue taking place till both the surfaces or both those bodies are at the same temperature. So this transfer of the heat from one body to another one, this is what is known as escaping tendency. There is something which is escaping from one surface or one body and reaching to the another body. So what that is being transferred, it is heat in this particular case. So the hotter body has greater escaping tendency until the temperature of both the bodies is same. In this case, temperature is considered as a quantitative measure of escaping tendency of heat. हम हीट ट्रांसफर हो रही है, लेकिन हीट कैसे मेजर करते हैं? इट इज बीइंग मेजर्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ टेम्परेचर. So temperature is considered as quantitative measure of escaping tendency of heat. The way we have determined the vapor pressure, and vapor pressure is considered as measure of escaping tendency of the molecules from the surface of the liquid. तो surface of the liquid से कितने molecule escape हो रहे? How can we determine it? Is by knowing what is the vapor pressure. जितना ज्यादा वेपर प्रेशर होगा किसी पर्टिकुलर सिस्टम का या किसी पर्टिकुलर मटेरियल का, इट मींस द मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर मटेरियल लीव्स द सरफेस ऑफ द मटेरियल at the earliest. And that's why when we deal with volatile liquids or volatile substances, you have to understand that they have very high vapor pressure. And when these materials have very high vapor pressure, what it means ultimately, it means that the molecules of that particular material, they are very eager to leave their own molecules. And this is what happens with all volatile materials. Say for example camphor, say for example your menthol, thymol, or all your volatile liquids. They have very high vapor pressure and low attractive forces of attraction between their own molecules, or cohesive forces of attraction. So molecules of that particular material, they develop forces of attraction with the another material, which is known as adhesive forces of attraction, and they leave the surface at the earliest. And that's why these materials, they have very high vapor pressure. So when we are interested in knowing how the material is going to leave the surface, or how material is going to behave when it is being exposed to the environment, it all depends upon their escaping tendencies. If the material is having very high vapor pressure, it means the molecules of that material is really eager to leave its own surface and go into the atmosphere. So in that case, your vapor pressure is being considered as measure of escaping tendency. The way hotter body, when it is being kept in contact with the colder one, the heat transfer takes place from hotter body to the colder body till the thermal equilibrium is achieved. Means hotter body will have a greater escaping tendency until both the bodies achieves the same temperature or reach to the same temperature. So in this case, though we are interested in knowing the transfer of heat from hotter body to the colder body, what we are measuring the temperature of both. So in this case, you will find that temperature is considered and is being taken as the quantitative measure of escaping tendency of heat. The way vapor pressure is being considered as the measure of escaping tendency of molecules of the material from its surface. We were talking about free energy. So free energy is the quantitative measure of escaping tendencies of the substance undergoing physical and chemical transformation. Because we cannot determine directly free energy, what we will determine is the vapor pressure. So when vapor pressure is being measured, from that we will be able to understand what is the measure of escaping tendency, or what is the free energy of that particular system. If material has very high vapor pressure, it means the free energy which is associated with that material is very high. And why that material is having high surface free energy is because the molecules are really eager to leave their own surface. And because this free energy is a quantitative measure of escaping tendencies of substances undergoing physical and chemical transformation for a pure substance, it is the molar free energy for a solution. It is partial molar free energy. For pure substance, we will call it as molar free energy, and when it is being converted into the solution, it is known as partial molar free energy, because now the substance or the solvent is not in the purest form, it is being mixed with another substance to give you a solution. So when we deal with purest solvent, the free energy which is associated with pure solvent or pure substance, it is being called as molar free energy. And when the same substance or same solvent is being converted into a solution, whatever free energy is being associated with the solution, it is considered and known as the partial molar free energy. So is the escaping tendency concept clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.